Adriana,
I'm Sophie.
I'm Ray.
and we're doing a video analysis on the music video Holy by Zolita.
So, Holy was performed by 26-year-old American singer-songwriter Zolita, and it was released in June 2016. It was directed by Zolita herself and Jake Sanner. It explores female sexuality, spirituality, and feminism, as most of Zolita's songs and music videos are ingrained with feminist and LGBTQ plus themes, always revolving around the concept of empowering women. With the release of her music video Holy, she was deemed the freshest face in feminism by American retailer Nasty Girl. So Zolita is the stage name for Zoe Montana Hotzel, who was born in 1994 and was raised in California. She was inspired by her father and Lady Gaga, another queer pop icon. Her career began in 2015, and she has since earned a place on Billboard's list of top 30 lesbian love songs with the release of her music video Explosion. She's a devoted political activist and member of the LGBTQ+ community, and has made it her goal to make pop music and videos by and for queer and marginalized people. In an interview with Out magazine, she addresses how society has been primarily exposed to heteronormative music and artists, and that she's directly stepping in to bring the power and a voice to those who are not so easily heard.
Our thesis is identifying that this music video portrays our heteronormative society that oppresses women, and especially women within the LGBT community. And it shows it in the way of a patriarchal schoolhouse where these girls are struggling to cope with the lifestyles forced upon them and ultimately choosing to leave everything behind to fight for an existence that goes past the social norms that have been placed on them. And we're gonna show a short clip.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1.
Thank you. So in the first scene of the music video, the young women of the schoolhouse are instructed to perform this ritualistic dance, which is composed of a series of motions like swaying side to side and cradling their hands underneath their bellies. This may be interpreted as a protective and accommodating gesture for the young women of the schoolhouse, as they're expected to become pregnant and fall into these mothering roles. They also repeat the phrase, "I am at your mercy," in preparation for filling a subservient role to a man. Zolita addresses this stereotype that has been perpetuated for decades, where women are expected to be homemakers and obedient passive wives, where they're supposed to embody the epitome of compliance and only serve domestic purposes. She also illustrates the social construct of heteronormativity, where all of society is expected to be composed of cis-straight individuals. And in this all-female schoolhouse setting, it could be interpreted as existing as a conversion therapy environment, which brings forth another layer of meaning to the oppression that these girls are subjected to. So all of these young women are controlled by the higher-ups, illustrating how their bodies and their voices are contained by this oppressive outer force, everything from what they wear to what they're allowed to believe in. And they follow the headmistress's orders, but it's implied that the male headmaster still holds the dominant gender role expectation, and that everyone has to report to him. So this headmaster doesn't even have any lines, unlike the headmistress, which really shows the power behind some patriarchal figures, how they can really represent power and authority without having any substance behind how they present themselves. The headmaster in this video shows how it's easier for men to have this authority and power at face value. He can be seen a couple times throughout the video where he's physically overlooking the women. He's seen at a position higher than them in frame. And it's only at the end when Zolita sacrifices herself does she spatially rise above him in frame, illustrating her refusal to reform to these patriarchal heteronormative expectations.
In terms of the rebellion that is showcased in the music video, we see them perform a dance that is completely opposite from the one that we showed the clip of. They are more expressive, they are showing individuality, and they are very obviously representing going against the norms. We all strive to find people like ourselves, and in this case, they literally create a cult that favors women rather than men supremacy. The colors are very obviously more vibrant when they're doing things that would get them in trouble, such as sneaking around, uh, being intimate with each other. And you can tell that even in death, these girls are more comfortable with their decision to sacrifice themselves for the sake of the cult to be continued. In the end, they both get caught by the headmaster and the headmistress, but you can tell in their faces that both of them have a sense of determination in what they're doing. They aren't just queer women, but they believe in a world where women are worth more than just what is presented to them. This is shown by the necklace and the book that they leave behind on the way out. It represents sexual shame at its most destructive form, resulting in literal murder. These people feel justified in their morality by shaming someone who doesn't fit in their exact model of a good person. But we have to understand that sometimes these people truly need to shame others just to feel more comfortable with themselves, especially this girl who ratted them out in the first place. Did she report them because she didn't agree with it, or was she only trying to further her own position in this established society? So, as we can see, there's the book and the necklace that was left behind. This music video represents a dystopian example of institutional homophobia and misogyny, but it doesn't necessarily then mean that this is such an outlandish and fictional universe, because a lot of people do feel as though they live like this. We are able to find people with like-minded ideologies, no matter how repressed we are by ruling forces, but it becomes much harder, and it could come at the price of someone's life. These girls died for their cause to spread within the women who were able to escape in the cult.
Alrighty, I'll be talking about the religious household. Some individuals grow up in a religious household and some do not. Experiences mold each other's thoughts and process, and no one is ever born from hate, but actually taught by it. What I what I've always been told when I was a little kid was that love is way more powerful than hate, and it thrives no matter how much hate there is in the world. Parents often are taught from their parents, and religious views are from generation to generation. There's always a controversy between religious values when it comes to the LGBTQ community. All around the world, we see that hate crimes are forced upon LGBTQ individuals because they are born sick or unnatural to the world we live in. LGBTQ individuals are persecuted and, even worse, executed for just being different in society. We can take from an example of the film Welcome to Chechnya that the Russians were trying to purify and hunt down the LGBTQ individuals just for being different, and they were considered inferior compared to straight people. I was raised in a religious household, Catholic raised. At first, my parents didn't accept me for who I was as a person, but they eventually had to figure out and truly see who I am as a trans woman. It was a very hard struggle, but we got through it as a family because no matter what religious perspective they held, they saw me and they knew that I am their child at the end of the day. This picture I took from the music video is a perfect example of how this sign represents or tries to mock the church sign because of how badly I'm mistreated for being different. It's a powerful message and it shows a lot of potential for the audience. No matter the sacrifice you make, the decision to love is pure love and no one can ever take that away from you.
Okay, this is our works cited page. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you learned something. Did I just